Welcome back to the farm. Today we're working on a 1983 Yamaha XS650. We just picked this motorcycle up, got it running, but the carbs do need to be cleaned. So we'll be taking the carbs off in the airbox. Nice thing about this airbox compared to a lot of other motorcycles is this is a split airbox in the middle. So you can take this half off and the other half off. So you can get the carbs out a lot easier. So it looks like there's one screw on each side at the top here with a bracket. And then looks like one bolt back here that holds it. The drain tubes underneath, vent tubes, and then unclamp it from the carburetor. And this side should come right off. Make it a lot easier to move those carburetors back and slide them out sideways. So now with all the bolts removed and the screws at the top, we loosen up the clamp on the carburetors and disconnected the vent tube, which is really pretty stiff. So now this whole thing should come off now. And there it is. That's the piece that goes in between the two halves. Has O-rings on it. So now that gives you a lot more room to get those carbs out. And when we removed this cover on this side, we saw somebody tried to restrict the airflow since it didn't have any foam left on it. It's glued, the foam was glued permanently in. And somebody took some elastic off their socks and stuck it in there. And with the cables disconnected, the choke cable and the throttle cable on the other side, you can loosen up the clamps there and wiggle it out. Maybe use a screwdriver to pry on the bottom here to pop them out. And then tilt it, try to tilt it down forward so you have enough room in here to get the breather valve, the breather line off. It goes up to the top of the engine up here. So it gives you enough room to slide both carbs out. And with the boots removed, you can finally slide it right out. It comes right out. Now on the set that there. On the boots, there's a gasket that's on it there, and that could leak air if it's not a good seal all the way around. And then you gotta look for cracks in the rubber. So now I'll take these carbs over to the bench and we'll clean them up, clean out the bowls and the jets, and then we'll put it back together, see if it runs any better. So here we have the carbs on the bench now, and I have a rag down and another absorbent mat underneath, just in case there's any fuel left in the bowls. So let's start taking it apart and see how bad it is. Well, there's a little bit of dirt in there. right down at the very bottom. So it does need to be cleaned out. I'll bring you back when I got them all apart and starting to clean out the jets. Well, now with them all disassembled, we can clean them up a lot better. Clean out all the ports inside of there and where the needle seat goes in there for the float. Also took out the diaphragms and the slides in order to get the center out and clean all the holes in that. Small holes in it. So you can see there is a little dirt in there, like a powder rust color, probably from old gas sitting or from buildup over time or from an ethanol fuel. So we'll clean these all up, spray them out with some carb cleaner, and they should be pretty good to go. I did notice the intake boots did have some cracks in them. A new set is about $15, so I don't know if I'm gonna get them now or not. It's not really too big of a job to change them once the carbs are in there. You really don't need to take the carbs out to change just the boots. You just need to get them out of the boots and switch them. So we'll see. Well, now with the carbs all clean there, we'll start to reassemble it. And first step is to put the main tube back down into the carb. Push it right in there like that. Then we can put the main jet back in with its washer. And it holds it in. It's nice and snug. And the other jet, that's got a small hole right at the very tip of it there. Right on the very tip. And then the rubber plug goes on the end of it there, like that. Then next is the float assembly. Get some of that tarnish off the stainless steel. And then the pin back in. We can put the bowl back on. sure it's all nice and snug down so you don't get any leaks. There, that's good. Next, put this back in, this jet. Use a little bit bigger screwdriver on that. Just snug. Put the air adjustment screw back in. Until it bottoms out. Gently. And then 1, 2 full turns like it was originally. And then we can put the slide back in. Make sure it lines up, the needle lines up. And there's a little notch right here where the diaphragm goes in. Make sure that's all seated in there. And then we can put the cap back on. I'll finish up doing the other side, and then we'll put the carbs back in the bike. And now with the fuel tank back on, temporarily hooked up. That's with no choke. Running good now. Still need to put some new foam on the air filters. Got a jumper pack hooked up in place of a battery. Basically, the jumper pack is just a battery, so it won't hurt anything. Need to do some routine maintenance, change the oil, check the brake fluid. Should be ready to go then. Hopefully in the spring, be able to take it out for a run, or on a nice day. Well, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.